Hello, welcome, dear sisters. Welcome to Empress Activation Temple, yet another season. And we are diving into the topic of the Sacred Mother. And with us is an old timer. She has been with us in few other seasons. And I'm so excited to welcome Dawn Del Vecchio.
Thank you, Jonita. Wow, as soon as you welcomed me, I felt the mothers come. So I'm all tingly. I'm all a tingle and excited to share.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this experience because I think this is the third time you're coming and sharing on the topic of the Sacred Mother, and I love it. Every time there is a new angle, and it is also so current. And I'm so curious what's going to come together today. What are we going to co-create today? And before we go into it, I want to read a little bit about you so that our sisters watching can get to know the wealth of experience and wisdom that you have accumulated, experience shared over the last so many years.
Mm.
So, Dawn, my dear sister, is walking the path of the priestess in devotion to the Divine Mother and feminine awakening for more than 38 years. She is committed to spiritual and practical service in the world through retreats, online courses, soul astrology services, and free offerings. And she is also the host of a very highly successful Return of the Priestess Summit series, the lineage bearer of the Mother Spirit Priestess line, and the author of Amazon #1 bestseller Spirit, Mind, and Money. She is so dedicated to her role as priestess and ascension guide, and I love co-creating with her because I know her heart is pure and is dedicated to serving women and men who choose to hold the light of love in these crucial, chaotic times. Dawn, once again, namaste and welcome here.
Namaste. Thank you.
So let's dive right in, Dawn. Mother Ray. You wanted to speak about Mother Ray. What is it to begin with?
Yeah, thank you for this. Well, this is a term that I have coined, you could say, or brought forth in an effort to give some language to something that's really ineffable and beyond language. So, for thousands of years, we've had the concept of God that has been anthropomorphized as a man, as a white man, usually. And we know God is actually a title. And I do use the term God now, usually in my community, interchangeably with the divine source energy, love, light, intelligence, divine love, the great mystery, the all that is, all of those terms, right?
Mhm.
So the divine feminine ray to me is the aspect of that which we would call God, divinity, that is returning to our consciousness. We are becoming available to access the wisdom of the great mother aspect of that which we would call God. Now we've had, and we know throughout cultures, historically and even present day, although they're not very well respected, we have many archetypes of the divine mother, from the compassionate nurturing mother to the fierce destroyer goddess. All of those deities are facets of the crystalline expression of divinity, and the goddess images are specifically the facets of that feminine aspect.
Mhm.
So for me to kind of make an effort to encourage sisters and brothers to not worship an effigy. So we can have, I mean, I've got goddess figurines. I'm going to take us through a little journey in my temple in a little while. I've got lots and lots of goddess figurines. The effigy itself, and I know this differs from, let's say, Hinduism, the effigy itself is but an object. It is not in and of itself um, imbued with anything.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
are imbued with the divinity. The
Mm.
effigy reflects, and the archetype also reflects. So for the last, well, I've been on this journey now 40 years. In the last 40 years, and there was already stuff about the divine feminine, like Goddesses in Every Woman by Jean Shinoda Bolen, for example, was already published. by 1984 when I began my journey. Um, we were beginning to awaken in remembrance, women,
Mm.
these divine feminine aspects or archetypes of the goddess, because we had to re-empower ourselves with a full expression of what it means to be a human so that we could begin to awaken into our higher consciousness and our divine human self. So the divine mother ray is truly when we pull in, and I have a whole course on this, we pull in some of the different archetypes in order to breathe them back alive within our waking, living consciousness, in our day to day lives, in our capacity to interact, deal with challenges, etc. So we're not truncating the feminine aspects and we're not half energetic beings.
Mm.
We're wanting to embrace the whole of that which we would call God or divinity. So I know that's a lot of words. I'm hoping that's making sense. I know your community, or you're also working deeply with these sort of
Yeah.
more refined discernments, let's say.
Yeah, yeah. One of the practical questions that I get when we speak about the Divine Mother, the Sacred Mother, and I know your beautiful course around Mother Spirit, which my community is also aware of, is how do we bring that to practicality? How do we use that on a regular basis? You know, you wake up and you have those difficult days or exciting days or triggered days. So, what do you have to say to that?
Yes, well, it's a matter of embodiment. So and practice. So let's say we've all, unless you're really, really young listening to this or listening to this at some point in the future, you were born in the deep density of 3D separation from and duality, perceiving God as outside of yourself, conditioned into programs of hierarchical consciousness, reaction, the ego, the identity of the ego taking charge. So
Mm.
it's all a practice to begin to imbue, to remember, to awaken these energetics. So when we want to embody the Divine Mother Ray, we want to have practices that nurture that initially. And then we have to keep reminding ourselves. So when we wake up in the morning and we know we're going to have a big, busy, stressful day, instead of jumping out of bed using the left brain and the masculine drive, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to look at my checklist and open up my phone and do all that stuff that I do. And for those of us running a business, the temptation is always there for that, right? Instead, it really is like, Mother, what would you have me know today? What would you guide me? I will be still and listen and receive what would excite me most to begin this day with.
Yeah, and that's a simple, short prayer, so powerful. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of it because sometimes I also do forget. Yes, I must be really honest, brutally honest. There are days that you forget that there is the mother that can lead you, guide you, hold you.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I even, because I journal every day, I have a sacred practice. My day begins, I have the first several hours are all inner work and then yogic practice, breathing, and then journaling. And there are times where I'm already receiving what I want to journal about or reflect on, or um, this is not work related stuff, although sometimes an inspiration for a course comes through. But if there's nothing there, sometimes I'll literally just put, the day and the time, and I'll put, Mother, what would you have me know today?
Mm.
And I just wait, and stuff invariably comes. Something comes through, a reflection and awareness, something I would do well to heal or resolve in my life, or a focus on something that's more priority than what my little left brain tick list says is a priority, that
Mm.
kind of thing.
I love this. I love this. And one of the things that was really brought forward to me as I continued working with the Dark Mother is to approach me as the infant, not as this conditioned woman. Come to me like the infant because I am the mother, right? And
Mm.
ask. And for me, that was like, wow, that's so true. My energy shifted when I started embodying this element and this perspective
Mm.
as I approach and ask the mother.
Oh, I love that. I've got chills. Yeah. Relinquishing all identification with past, with story, with everything, that pure childlike
Mm.
Yeah. Being an open container, an open vessel to receive. Oh, I love it. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, that's really shifted my perspective to even communing with the sacred mother archetype. I'm so glad that you shared about your practices. I'm curious to dive more into this, your personal practice. One of the questions that I always receive is to find out what the teachers and all those, visionaries do in order to receive these downloads and have that inspiration despite the chaos and despite the troubled times. And I'm sure you have your own ups and downs in your lives. How do you manage to navigate through all of that using this mother source?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So it is, yeah, I think when uh we're giving voice to divine messages, we must have energetic hygiene. So for me, that includes every morning, the first thing I do when I wake up is I clear my chakras. I have a deep light cleansing activation of 10 chakras. So I do, I include the navel, the high heart, which really is connected with the heart, but I just do it as a strengthening. And then I do the alta major behind the
Mm,
head here,
yeah, the
the
gut.
place where in the movie The Matrix he
Yeah.
unplugs.
Mhm.
Yeah. So deep dive, a deep cleansing every day. Now, if I've had a really pure couple of days before, only been in the temple or in forest, I don't feel it's not as much. But certainly when I've been around a lot of people, a lot of energetics, or had a lot of left brain activity, a lot of mind stuff. I do not own a TV. I have not owned a TV in decades. I do not watch TV. I do not consume, certainly not news,
Yeah.
which isn't new at all. It's all propaganda. And I rarely scroll social media. I do have assistants who
Point.
help post. What's that?
Point to be noted.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it can, and I've also cleaned my news feed a lot so that mostly what I see when I am in there is more uplifting stuff. So I start with the cleanse. I have a couple other meditations I do depending on, like I've been doing a body healing thing. So I've been doing a visualization of healing and restructuring my left hip joint, which has been giving me some challenges. I've also been doing inner child stuff. Now, I was adopted in 1965. And for some reason in Connecticut, where I was born, they would put the baby in a foster home for 6 weeks. So I was born, taken away from my mother. Back in 65, they didn't have conscientious birthing practices and given to not my mom and dad who raised me, who are loving parents, but somewhere else, some mystery place. And I've done rebirthing sessions where it was very clear to me the amount of anger, rage, betrayal, and isolation. So I've been doing part of my morning practice after the cleansing of the chakras and really activating them is working with the inner child, doing some healing work, bringing light through my body. So, and there's a whole bunch more. These are all meditative visualizations. Then I get up and I do my yoga practice, and I'm speaking affirmations of healing the body at that point. And then I often make a cacao and I sit on my chair when I'm home, when I'm not overseas, and I open my journal, and that's when I transmit. I become the channeler, the conduit. I channel verbally too. I can do that, but I most of my writing is channeled. So that's my strongest suit. So that's and all of that together can take anywhere from 1.5 to about 2.5 hours each
Oh,
day.
wow. Mm.
Yeah.
And how blessed we are to be able to devote so much time. Right? Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. To me, it's part of my responsibility
exactly.
as a light leader, as a ascension guide, priestess. And I'm grateful that I get to do that. I don't have a job to go to. Now, that being said, there are days where maybe I've got a 9 a.m. interview or a 9 a.m. client session, and I might have to shorten that. Or sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m., which is, that's the time when the pineal gland is activated. So I don't have a problem with that. I go to bed pretty early. So sometimes there has to be adjustments, of course, but for the most part, that's a approximation of the practices.
I love that. I love that. That this is our responsibilities as space holders, and this is our job. It's like really, you go to a job
Yeah,
7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, and this is part of the job, right? Part of the job that we do.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dawn, I know you have a beautiful experience for the sisters who are watching to take us into the Temple of Mothers. So,
Yeah.
let us know what it is, and we are ready for it.
Okay. I'm going to give you a little backstory to make it even more yummy. So, back in 2020, when everything was happening with COVID, I was living in Sedona, Arizona, which a lot of people probably know. It's a very powerful vortex,
Mhm.
energetic place. But I got a very, very strong guidance to get land with water that I owned and property in the forest. And it was incredible because the it didn't take long for me to find this place. So I have 5 acres very close to the forest in southwest New Mexico, USA. A huge 3.3 million acres of forest, and we're just one little, you know, little tiny village amidst all of that. So I always wanted to have my own private room. I always saw it in a house, my meditation room. I'd call it my meditation room, where I'd put all my goddess figurines and my textile collection from Asia and all my purdy stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we got this, I was like, I'm buying a yurt. I'm buying a yurt, around Gare, they call them the Mongolian homes. So I started looking around and I found handmade Mongolian yurts from Mongolia and I bought one. I picked it out. I picked the colors. It's hand painted. It's beautiful. So it took months to get here. That's when shipping was slow and all that nonsense was going on. Finally, we get it. We put it up. I decorated just a little bit. And I'm thinking, this is my private meditation room. It's my little yoga space. I got my yoga mat. I got the first time I sit in there, I sit down and I hear this is the Temple of the Mothers. I was like, okay, good with that. No problem. It's the Temple of the Mothers. It's my yoga meditation space. And then I walked out and I have a deck that I had built for it. So there's 3 stairs that go down. You walk out on the deck, look out at the forest, 3 stairs that go down. As I'm walking down, you know how when you can see kind of with your, not like it's fully there, but almost like if I were to say, what did you have for breakfast this morning? You can kind of see it in your eyes, even if you're looking at me, right? I saw a whole group of women in white walking up the stairs past me into the temple. I was like, oh, this is a retreat space. This is not just for Dawn. I am the guardian of this space. And then from that point, I have been gifted and found. I happen to live, I didn't really realize it at the time, on veins and veins of quartz.
Mm.
So I have found literally countless pounds of quartz in the forest. I have been gifted by several people huge numbers of quartz crystals and single pointed crystals and small ones and large ones. So this temple has become, I'm the keeper of it and the guardian of it. I have 1 or 2 retreats here a year. And yes, I do meditate and do yoga in there too. And it's full of crystals and it's full of goddesses. And I have built underneath the deck, there's a grid of crystals and rocks. So it's a vortex energy of power and healing. So that's what the Temple of the Mothers is. And what I wanted to do was take us to welcome all the sisters into this temple because it is an activator. And I realize that not all sisters can physically come to New Mexico when I have a retreat. I can only fit 7 women at a retreat in this space anyway. So yeah, so what I wanted to do was guide us into the space, introduce you to each of the altars and the energetics, and invite you to stand in the middle and receive an activation from the crystal grid.
Yeah, let's do this. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so my dear sisters, go ahead if it feels safe to do so. You can close your eyes and take a few moments to breathe into your heart space, breathing in and out. Just bringing yourself into your inner self. allowing the thoughts of the day to fall away. You can pick them back up later, just coming present. And I want to invite you now, I am welcoming each of you to my home and my temple in the forests, the Ponderosa Pine Forests of New Mexico, USA. And so you come now and land in the grasses in front of my home and imagine yourself facing the west. To your left or the south is the great Ponderosa Pine Forest and the great Falcon Hill beyond it. To the right, my little green home. And before you, the Temple of the Mothers, lifted up on a platform. And you find yourself now, sisters, attired in white, holding a candle and flowers, in a queue with your sisters. All the sisters listening with you now, all the sisters who will listen in another now moment. And of course, our dear sister Jonita and myself. And when you're ready, you begin to ascend the stairs. There are 3 steps, stepping up, 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 where I greet you and bow to you and welcome you to step to your right and then into the temple. So you're entering the eastern doorway. So you turn right and then turn left to enter, and you tuck down. You have to bend your head to come in. And then you stand up, looking into the temple, the eastern doorway at your back, facing the west. And we're going to just circle around. We're going to make one full circle around the temple. So turning to your left, immediately to your left is the altar of the great Eastern goddesses, where we see Lakshmi and Saraswati, Kali and Durga. And in the center is Isis. And just feel the presence of these figurines there that represent aspects of the Divine Mother that awaken in you as you receive their signature expression through your eyes. And when you're ready, moving around to the south, there are 2 windows to the south that face out to the forest and the sun crossing the sky. This is the direction of fire. And all along the floor, bathing in the sunlight, are quartz crystals. And there are some amethysts, some rose quartz, and some others, but primarily quartz crystals. Just take a moment now to kneel before them. And notice if there are any there that you feel called to take, to hold, to place against your heart, or receive their energy from within. There are clusters and points, large ones and small ones, small vessels filled with little crystals. Just bask in the activation of the crystalline energies that are so strong in this temple. Let that resonance activate your own crystalline DNA awakening now. Beautiful. Now, moving slightly to the right, in the southwest, there is another altar. This is the altar to the angels and to Mother Mary. And there are figures of Mother Mary And for those of you who are familiar with the Southwest, you know that her guise as La Virgin is very famous here, for she appeared in an apparition to a humble man named Juan Diego many years ago. And she opened up her robe, and before him fell many, many, many red Castilian roses. So you may witness and experience her now standing before a carpet of Castilian roses. And I feel her very strongly here right now, with a golden ray of light surrounding her entire being, and her sacred heart of compassion open and spilling forth to activate your heart. And just receiving Mother Mary's energies in this southwest quadrant. Feel how that opens and activates your heart even more. As you turn now to the right, go a little bit further to the western altar, where a large golden bowl of water rests upon a Chinese-style altar table. And this is the altar to Kuan Yin. There is a Kuan Yin hanging in the back and a Kuan Yin figurine in front of the vessel. Also, there are many seashells, as well as the Eastern goddess Nagakanya and another small vessel of water. So this is the place to receive the water element and to strengthen your own compassion and mercy for yourself and all other beings. You may wish to anoint yourself with some of the water from the vessel, or drink some, or sprinkle some on your head. You can do that now. Maybe place some on your heart. Attuning to the waters, the consciousness of water. Water as a reflection of our own capacity to elevate our inner womb waters to higher frequential states and flow in alignment with a higher order of consciousness. So now, having received all of this divine feminine energy, we shift to the northwest for the altar of the divine masculine, where there are wands, scepters, drums, a set of runes, my beloved husband's sacred objects, the strength of the staff of the masculine. Take a moment to feel the dance of the inner feminine and masculine within you. For we are both, we are all, allowing it, receiving it, receiving it and feeling strengthened in the spine. Welcoming in that energy and moving now to the place of the north. Now, the place of the north is where I have a couch, and it's where I sit before the couch on the floor to do my sacred work, tarot, meditation, prayer, etc. But in this north space right now, notice the magical fairies that are woven in above the couch, overlighting and overseeing the entire space. And then turn around to face the center. And in the center, there are two pillars to either side, hand-painted, orange with decorative swirls, many colors painted over the base orange of these two pillars, these wooden shafts that hold up the central tonu, it's called, the central bubble of the top of the yurt. And I've cleared that central altar now to make a space for you to step within. So now step into the center. And maybe you have your crystal with you that you selected in the south. And maybe you have some messages from the goddesses of the east, the southwest, the west, or the sacred masculine energies of the northwest, or the fairies in the north. Let those activate within you as you send your energy down through the floor of the yurt, the temple, through down into the crystal grid that is placed just beneath this temple. Connect with that grid, that activated grid of potent awakening energies for your own embodiment of the Divine Mother Ray. And if you'd like, you can let your energetic roots go down even beneath those into Gaia to be fully connected and grounded, allowing the transfer of energies down to her and from her back up through your roots, through the grid, up through the space between and into your body, up, all the way up through all the energy centers and out the crown of the head, rising up through the tonu or the bubble, the little plexiglass bubble that's at the top center of the yurt, up into the heavens above. Then allow yourself to receive light coming down through the center, down through the crown, down through your body, down through the temple, the crystal grid, and into Gaia. So as you stand here now at the center of the Temple of the Mothers, being nourished and activated by Mother Gaia, by the crystalline grid, by the Temple of the Mothers, by Heavenly Divine Mother, by the cosmic rays of light so present on our planet right now. Allow yourself a moment to simply be the vessel of receptivity for your own highest good, highest timeline, most grace-filled and ease-filled experience in this life. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Activate, activate, activate. Bless, bless, bless. Holy Mother Spirit Sophia and all the mothers of the Temple of the Mothers, the Divine Mother Ray, bless my beloved sister, that she embody, awaken, and remember her beauty, her divinity, her grace, now and forevermore. Blessed be, and so it is. And when you are ready, sister, receiving and drinking in this blessing in all ways for always, you may step out from the center, make your way back around the remainder of the temple, where you'll notice one final altar to the northeast, where a beautiful ancient mother figurine, an ancient goddess, abundant, the great Venus of Willendorf, and another, the sleeping goddess, the fecund Mother Earth herself, offers her blessing the bounty that's available to you at all times in this life. Receive that final blessing before you turn around and bend and back your way out of the temple, giving thanks. And then turning to the south to make your way to the stairs. Turning left down the 3 stairs into the grasses. Take a final moment to receive the blessings of the trees, the tree beings who abundantly bless us here in the great forest. Drinking it all in, activating your highest timeline of truth, blessing, abundance, grace, ease, and beauty. Take a deep breath, release your vision from being here with me in New Mexico. Return to your physical body where you are in time and space as you listen. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Roll the shoulders and hips, feeling yourself in the body. Take a deep breath. Exhale, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes, fully awake and alert, back with us here. Oh, I hope that that was a good experience. I've never done that before, so it was nice to guide you all and welcome you there.
Yeah, that was really good. I wanted to just lie down and sleep in the center, just receive all the blessings,
Mm,
activations. That was really beautiful. I just felt being there with you. So beautiful. Now,
yeah.
that's how you integrated the sacred masculine aspects there in the Temple of Mothers. So beautiful.
Yeah. Well, my husband actually, he was like, hey, I got some nice things. I want to put it here too. I was like, well, the Northwest feels like a good place for the sacred masculine. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we're not leaving the sacred masculine behind. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Don. That was so good. I feel like I can now just go to sleep and have a very restful
Mm,
transition. But we have things to talk about.
beautiful. Okay.
So, Don, I know you have a free gift for our listeners, sisters
Yeah.
here. Please share about that.
Yes, it's my Sacred Feminine Leadership Library, and this is a collection of mostly audios. I think there's a couple of download, like PDF downloads too. And so there's a variety of guided meditations, reflections, things, topics that relate to sacred feminine leadership. In other words, being a priestess at this time on the planet. So, and I change it up and add things from time to time. It's very easy to access. You just go to my page. I'm sure you'll link that for them, Jonita, and it's free. You know, you can opt in and you can download the things that look yummy to you, or download them all, or yeah, whatever works for you. It's more than one thing.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And that's so generous and kind of you, Dawn, to give us such a pool of resources. I know our feminine can, feminine likes variety, right? So why not?
Yep.
So, Dawn, one of the questions I'm asking most of the speakers here in this Empress Activation Temple is about being an empress. What does it look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I have been reflecting on this. I knew you were going to ask me this question, so I've really been thinking about and feel, or not even thinking. It's really like asking and then opening to that. So let me just tune in because there are a few things came in impressions, and I want to be succinct. For me, I feel myself most in my Empress energies when there isn't a lot of thought and when I am present with what is. And because of what I have, how I have created my life and what aligned for me, being an empress or living that day to day is really being able to uh, live in attunement with what I'm aligned to do. And so we're kind of circling back to the beginning, really.
Mm.
Yeah, there are days where I've got things on my schedule that I've got to get done, but
Mhm.
I don't have to go 9 to 5 to serve someone else's vision every day.
Perfect.
And that to me is the Empress energy. I am in service to Gaia. In service to my sisters, to Ascension, to God, to the Divine Mother aspect of God. And that means that I get to create my days in a lot of ways the way I want. A lot of times I'm very, very free. And it doesn't mean I'm not doing things. It means that I have created it in a way where I can say, what is most present now? What is most important to do? And have that freedom of decision and freedom of mind to no longer be sort of tied into the matrix 3D job stuff, other people's low frequency, worries about life. Not that everyone has low frequency, but when you're out there in the regular world, right? So that to me is the Empress. I get to be the sovereign of my day-to-day life.
I love that. Thank you so much for leading that vision that it is a possibility for those who desire and those who desire to be in service of the feminine, the consciousness in the highest way. Thank you for leading the way. And I'm so grateful for your time, energy, and presence, and also all the wisdom shared here, Dawn.
Thank you, Jonita. Thank you for your sacred work. It is an honor to be in this, to be living in these times. It's quite extraordinary. So let us continue to, as I love to say, lift as we rise with our sacred service.
Yes, thank you so much.